Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a new Doctor Who of my 5 favourite stories from a Doctor. So I'm going to do this one on William Hartnell's Doctor. Now, as you know, for this series, I've been going through each of the Doctors in my favourite order. So basically, in 8th place, I've had to put William Hartnell's Doctor because I really enjoy his Doctor a lot more, and well, to be honest with you, he's the only classic Doctor that's literally in the top 10, where the other classic Doctor is in low. William Hartnell's Doctor I really enjoyed because he mellows over his 3.5 series, because he has 2 stories in season 4. He kind of mellows because he goes from this grumpy kind of a grumpy old man, and he really mellows into a kind of a grandfathery type. He's old grumpy. He starts off being old and grumpy, and you do see some dark elements in his Doctor, like when he picks up a rock to go and bash somebody's head in with a skull. He has some great lines. He's the first Doctor we had in the TV show. So these are my 5 favourite plus honourable mentions of the first Doctor's run. So, before I get into this, William Hartnell, as I said, played the first Doctor from 1963 to 1966. He did come back, but with his illness, really prevented him to come back full time. He filmed a few scenes in the three Doctors in his back garden, because he was really ill at the time and couldn't come into the studio. So the stuff that they used for his Doctor was filmed in his back garden, I think, or in his house, because he was really ill and he couldn't come to the studio. And then he passed away in 1975. So that's a little bit of information about William Hartnell, in case you didn't know that. So in 5th place for William Hartnell in my favourite stories, I've had to put the Aztecs one. This is my favourite story out of season 1 completely, because I really enjoyed the Aztecs. I like the 15th century setting in Mexico, I think. Yeah, Mexico. I kind of like the way the Doctor tells Barbara. He goes, "You cannot rechange history, not one line. And believe me, I know. I really enjoy Hartnell's performance as the Doctor. Literally, when he's kind of there talking, and he accidentally gets married in this story to a younger woman. So he's like, oh, and then he realises he's like, oh, like that. I love the way he acts. And then when he's there trying to get into behind the stone because Ian's got trapped in it, and he's there trying to go, and he's literally there trying to open it, and then Ian, you just have that cliffhanger. I really enjoyed the Aztecs. My 4th favourite story for William Hartnell is his final story, The 10th Planet, because even though his illness was really starting to affect him in halfway through season 3 and season 4, he literally was not in for 1 episode because of The 10th Planet. Because he's in episodes 1, 2 and 4. I don't think he's in episode 3. I can't remember, because it's been a while since I watched The 10th Planet. But I really enjoy it, because this is the very first story that features the Cybermen and the home planet Mondas. I really enjoy the way that kind of setting is, and the way Mondas is there draining Earth's power to try and break through its orbit, come through, knock Earth out of its orbit, so Earth will be destroyed, so the Mondas will be survived. I really like that. I like the way the Cybermen just literally start to invade, because you just see these 3 kind of Cybermen walking through the snow, bashing somebody on the head, stealing their clothes, and then they go into the kind of the tomb on the South Pole, the base, and then when they take off their disguise, and Polly's there screaming, and you just see the Cybermen. But the thing is that during the first episode, the Doctor goes, "You're going to be visited by... You're going to be visited." Visited? What do you mean? You're just going to be visited. I really like it. And then when the Cybermen, doing their invades and stuff, and the Doctor just gives them... where she talks about feelings, where Polly talking to feelings to the Cybermen, he goes, "Feelings? Why should I have feelings? Emotion, love, pride, hate, fear. Do you have no emotion, my dear sir?" I really like when William Hartnell does that. And then when he's there in the tracking room, when they're talking through the story, he goes, "Oh dear, this old body mine's wearing a bit thin. And then he goes into his TARDIS and collapses on the floor and regenerates into the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. I really enjoyed this episode. I really like the way he literally does that speech. Emotion, love, pride, hate, fear. Do you have no emotion, my dear sir? I really love the 10th Planet. My third favourite story for William Hartnell has got to be The War Machines, because this is the very first time we actually see the Doctor won't be intimidated. Because when you have that epic scene in round about part 3 or 4 with the War Machine like heading towards the Doctor, and the Doctor's just there kind of like doing that with his cloak, the hat on, and just there like walking towards them and stuff. Now this is also a great story because the Doctor's companion Dodo leaves after 2 episodes, because she's in it for 2 episodes. Then she gets like brainwashed by this computer saying, "The Doctor is weak, quiet." And then she gets hypnotised like to kill the Doctor and stuff. And then she leaves, and then at the end of the episode you just have Ben and Polly running towards the Doctor saying, I'm sorry, Dodo's not coming back." "Oh, okay, I'll just go inside the box." And then Ben and Polly go and travelling with the first Doctor at the end of this episode. I just really enjoy this story because it shows at one point the Doctor won't be intimidated. I really enjoy the way other episodes are done. They're just done absolutely amazing in this story. So coming into me honourable mentions. Honourable mentions now. I've got 5 honourable mentions before getting to my 2 favourite First Doctor stories. So for 5th place in honourable mention, I've had to put The Web Planet, because again, I really enjoy the story. I think Vicky is a great companion. Ian and Barbara are still great. The First Doctor, when he's like there, like with the Sarbini, literally coming around, talking to these great big giant ant creatures. And the way he's there with his gut going like that, he's literally there just doing stuff with his hands, saying, like trying to stop them from getting to the TARDIS team. I really enjoyed that. And I love the bit when you see the TARDIS is literally like being dragged across this planet's atmosphere to the base. I really enjoyed that scene. Number 4 is The Rescue. Now, The Rescue I really enjoyed because this is Mara O'Brien's first appearance as Vicky. Now, Vicky is one of my favourite companions from the First Doctor's era. She's 10 times better than Susan. I really like her chemistry with William Hartnell. By the end of the season, she become the Doctor kind of like, in the way he adopts her to be his granddaughter. The way you see in a few scenes, like in The Chase and stuff, where when he and Barbara like want to talk about leaving, and he's there like saying, "No, I am not helping you." And then Vicky goes, "Doctor, I just want to go home to the home times." And the Doctor's still grudgy and stuff. And he goes, "I shall miss them." But Vicky brings out the best in the First Doctor. He starts mellowing around about the time Vicky's like enters, like Vicky's character, like Vicky ends up coming into the show. I really think he kind of mellows from when he was with Susan and then Ian and Barbara. Number 3 for honourable mentions, it is the Time Middler. I really enjoy the Time Middler because this is the very first time we see another race of the Doctors. Now, we don't even know, at this point, we don't even know the Doctor's a Time Lord because we don't really find out until the second story, the War Games. So we just know we have this kind of meddling monk who is a Time Lord. Well, he is a Time Lord. He's a race of the Doctor saying people. He has his own TARDIS. And then when you have that reveal at the end of part 2 where Vicky goes, "The monk's got a TARDIS." When Vicky and Stephen end up walking in, and that's the thing. And I like the way William Hartnell takes out something of his TARDIS that makes him stuck in that period of time. And he goes, "I should give you back your circuit." And he's like, "Give you back my circuit." What is he on about? "What has he done to my TARDIS?" I really love when William Hartnell just messes with the First Doctor when he messes up the monk's TARDIS and it's kind of gone like smaller and he can't get into it. It's funny. I really enjoy that scene. It's funny. Second honourable mention, it is the Daleks. I really enjoyed this one. Now, this is the very first story to feature the Daleks, but it's Doctor Who's second full-on story. Now, this is 7 parts. If you watch this all in one go, you most probably end up being very, very kind of like swamped out. But if you break this up like a 5-minute break in between each episode, you're probably fine. But you will need a lot of cups of tea or coffee just to try and get through the story, because it is very, very long and stuff. I enjoy the story. It's the very first, as I say, it's the very first appearance of the Daleks. They're just trying to work out the Daleks at this point, because the Dalek voices ain't as good as it does later on progress, but it's still a great story. And number one on the mention, it is The Unearthly Child, because just of the pilot and the first episode, because the pilot is a lot different than the first episode, but it's really, really good. It's a great sort of story to go on for Doctor Who's history. It's the very first story of Doctor Who completely. When you see the TARDIS in the junk barge with Ian and Bob going, feel that? It's got a vibration. It's alive. I love them in the first Doctor going, when he's literally talking, goes, we're not from this Earth. We're not from this dimension. We're from the fourth dimension in space and time. Susan and I are cut off for our own planet. Without our people and protection. But one day, we shall go back. Yes, we shall go back. Yes. And I like the bit with the first Doctor, because in this episode, he is very, very grumpy. I mean, he's about to bash somebody's head in with a rock into the skull. He will do anything to get them back into the TARDIS. And it's just a great story. Now, people think parts 2, 3 and 4 are very, very boring, to be honest with you. I find that myself, but if you take it in a bit of a break in between each episodes, like I did when I was watching the VHS, I literally put it on pause for 5 minutes, went downstairs, made myself another cup of tea, watched the second episode, put it on pause again, ran down, cup of tea, and then pause again for the fourth episode. You know, making at the point you're making like 4 or 5 cups of tea. The story does really work. So coming back into my top 5 stories now, we are in second place. And my second favourite William Hartnell story is, of course, The Chase. Now, it's called The Chase for one fantastic reason. It has the Daleks in their own time machine chasing after the TARDIS team. Now, in the TARDIS team in the story, you have Ian and Barbara, because this is the last story, played by Jacqueline Hill and... I can't remember is it William Russell? That is the last appearance in Doctor Who. This is the last story. You have Vicky, and then of course you have played by Mara O'Brien, and then you have William Hartnell as the first Doctor. So you kind of have the TARDIS team running through bits in time and space, trying to get away from the Daleks because the Daleks are chasing after them. A lot of stuff goes wrong. I mean, they end up going to Dracula's house. They end up on the Empire Estate in Manhattan. Then you end up with them going onto a boat, and then when the Daleks invade, and then you see that Dalek going off into the sea. Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy that stuff. It's just a great story, the chases. And then when Ian and Barbara leave, the first Doctor is like there arguing with him, saying, no, I am not helping you. And then Vicky just kind of just talks him round and goes, okay, I will show you how to pilot that TARDIS. And also, I kind of like the way the first Doctor is, because the Daleks create a robot copy of him. So you kind of have that epic battle with William Hartnell's Doctor and this kind of person that looks like built like William Hartnell, but he's like supposed to be the robot version. So you do have them fighting with the walking sticks and stuff. It's just a great scene, that is. And an episode in this is called The Death of Doctor Who. And then, of course, my all-time favourite story for William Hartnell's Doctor is, of course, the Dalek Invasion of Earth. This one was my first ever William Hartnell story I ever watched with my dad. Then I went and stopped over at my aunt and uncle's in Solihull. Then we went to HMV and I brought this story and watched it over and over again for that week. I stopped over at theirs watching this story because I absolutely love the Daleks. Now, this is the one story I really enjoy because the Daleks are like a small party, but these are different types than the original Daleks we see on Skaro. They've hypnotised people into Robomen, so the Robomen are working for the Daleks. Where did you find these people? Sector 4. And I really love that scene at the end of the first part. He goes, when I give the word, turn and dive in the water. Now! And they just turn and you just got this Dalek coming out of the water. And with this really, really creepy music going on. And then you just have the music going dun 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 dun. I really enjoy part 1 of the story. I really enjoy all of it as well. But then when you get to that ending, when Susan's there talking to this guy David, and then she's there crying, saying, oh David, I do love you, I do. And the first Doctor seals, now Susan, please. I've doubled up the doors, you can't get in. Now step back, my child, so I can see you. Over the years, I've been taking care of you And you in return have been taking care of me. But grandfather, I belong with you. Not any longer, Susan. You're still my grandchild, and you always will be. But now, you're a woman too. I want you to belong somewhere and find roots of your own. Would David be able to find those roots? And believe me, my dear, your future lies with David, and not with a silly old buffer like me. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs, and prove to me that I'm not mistaken in mine. I just love that speech when he says that to Susan's, and then he literally goes, goodbye, Susan, goodbye, my dear. And he literally goes to the TARDIS console, presses the button, and the TARDIS leaves, and then you kind of have Susan just there, standing with the TARDISes at one point, and then David reaches his hand out to her, and then they walk off. I really enjoy this episode of Dalek Invasion of Earth, because it does show the TARDIS team trying to help the humans, us in the future, trying to help us humans in the future, trying to defeat the Daleks, and then we kind of help them, but along the way, Susan ends up falling in love with David, and the Doctor knows it, where Barbara and Ian end up down in the mines because they're both stowed away in the Dalek ship. You have the first Doctor travelling down with Tyler. Is it Tyler? Or one of them. I can't remember the actual guy's name. I know Tyler was somewhere. Was it Tyler the first Doctor travelled with? I can't remember. It's been a while as well. But I really enjoy the Dalek version of Earth. It is a great story. So this is my 5 favourite William Hartnell stories. A.k.a. William Hartnell is my 8th favourite Doctor. Plus 5 honourable mentions. Join me some point for another Doctor Who video where I talk about my 9th favourite Doctor, played by Christopher Eccleston, who was indeed the 9th Doctor. So thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share, and have a great day.